She's at a place in her life where peace is a priority and negativity cannot exist. She's no longer matching energy. She's simply removing herself from any situation that doesn't vibrate her soul. So if you start moving funny, she's moving on.
What's up, my Fina love? Sisters Fina D coming to you all from Fina Team and News.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The living legend, Miss USA.
Oh.
She puts the celebrity in Bravo celebrity.
Oh, yes.
Give it up for Kenya, the icon, more.
Yes. Gone with the wind, fabulous. She's a force all her own. You can't take that away from her. That's one thing about me. I am never going to not give you your flowers.
Do you agree with her when she says she built the house?
She built the house, but it got foreclosed on. I mean... Why would she say that?
Because they only see a chopped down version of it.
And what the editors choose to show. Allegedly.
As we're seeing this season, allegedly. Hey, flashbacks.
My rebuttals are always so lethal that they forget about what the other person did to me. But when you forgot, this person literally just tried to spit on me, or this person just tried to kill me, or this person just said the most horrible things to me. All you can see is the strategic or the way that I respond. And it's not fair because they just forget about what people have done to me. And it's not nice.
As a longtime Kenya Moore supporter, someone who was in the trenches, someone who's been supporting Kenya when it wasn't cool to support Kenya, someone who's been rocking with Kenya when it was a terrible thing to rock with Kenya because she is so misunderstood. I have received a lot of hate, but you all don't get to see it because I do not tolerate that over here. With so much hate and just people being disgusting because this woman is so misunderstood, I have created a safe space for Kenya Moore loyal supporters where they can come and peacefully leave their comments and support Kenya without having to go back and forth in the comment section, just being disgusting towards each other. They can actually respond and have intelligent responses because that's who Kenya Moore is. That's what she stands for. That's exactly who I am over here. And that's the space I have created for her supporters. So kudos and shout out to all of the new Kenya Moore supporters. And oh my goodness, this interview have led me to see Kenya in a different light and all of that. But when it wasn't cool to support Kenya Moore, I saw right through every single thing Bravo was doing. And all Kenya Moore did was validate everything I've been saying for years through all of my views, discussions, and basically putting Bravo on blast and pointing out their bias editing and pointing out, it did not happen this way. This season, other fan base eyes are now open because their fave, as they say, their favorite, the person they rock with, are now in the hot seat. So now they are seeing what Kenya Moore went through for years. For example, situations like where someone is being aggressive. We get to see the episode that they were aggressive. But then Bravo replay a scene where they were not being aggressive to prove a point. And then they're like, we saw the scene, but when it comes to Kenya Moore, that's not how it played out. Like I said in previous videos, we wouldn't have even seen the scene, okay? It would have been Kenya word against production. She would have been on Twitter defending herself. That entire scene showing that someone was wrong and Kenya Moore was simply retaliating would have been cut out to make Kenya look like the villain. We've seen it over and over again. I know I keep repeating myself and I'm sounding like a broken record, but we never got to see this episode, and I would keep talking about it because this moment made me realize how disgusting, how low, and how far Bravo will go to destroy this woman, to attempt to destroy her. You knew how deep and important the movement, Black Lives Matter, black men and black women being murdered, people marching, crying, all of these things going on. And in Portia Williams' redemption season, you didn't delete an entire episode that made Kenya Moore question Portia Williams' activism, yet you left Kenya Moore questioning another black woman activism in the episode so Kenya could get dragged on social media during the movement so her own people could cancel her. And then Portia Williams leaned into it and went on social media pretending like Kenya was really doing this, even though she knew in the back of her mind what she had done. She knew she had gone to corporate and told them to not show the episode.
They say there is a scene that was deleted, edited out, or not aired on Bravo because I asked for it to be taken out, right? Now, we know that a lot of housewives, they have power over the years and they may be able to go and ask the heads to take something out, right? It is what it is. I have worked very hard to get to where I am in life. I've worked very hard on this show. And if I've gotten to a place where I can call the execs up and get something taken out, so be it, right? The beginning of the season happened and I had not seen any of the cast. This was my first scene with the cast, which was Todd's birthday. I walked into Todd's birthday and I was told Candy wanted to question me about something. And I said, okay, that's fine. I haven't done anything. Happy to answer any of her questions. As soon as I walked into the party, Candy wanted to ask me about these texts. There are some texts out there that, you're talking about what I was trying to get done for Black Lives Matter, etc., and anyone else who wants to do so. So I did not want us to be on Real Housewives, even if it was just a misunderstanding, because clearly I have the text. Even if it could have been cleared up, I just didn't like the way it was going to come off. Because I don't have power over editing. Nobody does. So at the end of the day, if they decide to chop it up or maybe it just didn't show right, and I didn't want the narrative to be out there that black women on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, instead of being responsible, doing something for the community and being effective, instead we're on there arguing about what Candy did or what Portia didn't do or what NeNe didn't do. Okay? So I went to Bravo. They decided after I explained everything to them that they've agreed, you know what? I don't think that will be a good look. That is not the purpose we want in showing the black experience and what you guys are going through with Black Lives Matter. So they decided that they did not want to air that, period. And it was done. They say there is a scene that was deleted, edited out, or not aired on Bravo because I asked for it to be taken out, right? Now, we know that a lot of housewives, they have power over the years and they may be able to go and ask the heads to take something out, right? It is what it is. I have worked very hard to get to where I am in life. I've worked very hard on this show. And if I've gotten to a place where I can call the execs up and get something taken out, so be it, right?
I have linked the entire video in the description below for those of you who missed it or forgot what happened to add more context, because the video is almost an hour long. My thing was, at that time, if you were able to completely delete and erase an entire episode or scene, completely disregarding the people who came to work, invested hours and their time shooting those scenes, but because Portia asked you, you took away the scene because it wasn't a good look for Portia. This whole thing about black women, girl, bye. It wasn't a good look for you, because if they care so much about black women and the image and all of that in Black Lives Matter, then why did they leave another black woman in there questioning your activism? And the only reason why I keep bringing up that moment is because if people really fell into Bravo trap, if Kenya Moore did not defend herself, if I didn't put out my videos connecting the dots, people were really about to cancel this successful, intelligent black woman based on a lie. And the same black woman who's publicly screaming Black Lives Matter, uplift black women and marching, is the same black woman who is in connection with the very network to destroy and take down another black woman. That's just one moment. And then silly moments like Drew meeting up with Cynthia Bailey, dragging Kenya's career, throwing Kenya's age around, making jokes like when was her last movie and all of these different things. Thinking that it wouldn't get back to Kenya. Of course it did get back to Kenya. But did we see that? No. Did they film that? No. Did they show Cynthia Bailey going back and being a bone collector and telling Kenya what Drew said during that dinner? No. What did we see? Drew walking in and randomly out of nowhere, Kenya saying that Billy is just picking up and bringing in strays. And people ate that up. Oh my God, Kenya is so jealous. She's so mean. She's so evil. Drew did absolutely nothing to you. Why are you calling her a stray? Did y'all forget the episode where she went to sit with Cynthia first before being introduced to the group and she clowned Kenya's career? Did we forget that? Or when she body shamed Kenya, her production went and pulled up Kenya's responses, okay, her tweets, and ignore everything that Drew also posted. And then flash Kenya more tweets on the screen. And then give Drew a moment at the reunion to have this pity party of, as women, things happen to us and you have no idea why my stomach looked like that and it could be health issues, and did all of this in hopes that once again Kenya will get dragged. Oh, so why don't you flash what Drew said on the screen that made me retaliate? And those are just little moments. We've had worse moments, bigger moments, and you all know that. I'm just pointing out the little moments and also the other moment because that moment was major and big enough to get Kenya Moore canceled because we're in the midst of something very serious that should have never happened. And Bravo did it anyways, because Kenya Moore doesn't represent the type of black woman that they want to lead their network. I also see the flip side, and what I do see is a little black girl seeing someone like Milo in her 150 mugshots standing next to an icon like Kenya Moore, standing next to someone who's forever a part of history. That little black girl is going to say, a little girl, period, whatever race, is going to say, if she can come from that and is now sharing the same space with a Kenya Moore, I can be that and do that as well. So I do see the flip side on both sides. I'm just saying representation matters and show both, because what they do to Kenya Moore is they do all of these disgusting editing that people who falls into their trap spend so much time hating, believing what they're seeing, that by the time they realize that it was Bravo playing all along, it's too late to focus on how intelligent and amazing she is. And that's the reason why you have people like, oh my gosh, I like this new Kenya. New Kenya where? Yes, we all improve over the years, but this is the Kenya, the same happy, always laughing, that unique laugh that she has, okay? An amazing person that's been here all of these years. But you all were so blinded by Bravo disgusting editing and putting her in this villain role and this unfair role that you all missed the amazing and intelligent woman that she is, that I've been talking about for years, because I could see through all of Bravo BS. And of course, when I say you all, I'm not literally talking about you all that are listening, Kenya Moore supporters and things like that. I'm talking about the people who were blinded by Bravo bias editing. Speaking of editing, that's the same editing that NeNe Leakes was relying on when she attempted to spit on Kenya Moore, and she was so confident. Oh my gosh. In her interviews, you will see Kenya is a liar. I never spit on her. I did not attempt to spit on her. You will not be seeing anything close to that, because NeNe knew back then Bravo was up her you know what. So she was confident that the same thing that Portia Williams was able to do, that NeNe Leakes allegedly been doing for years, that those producers were going to protect her and not show that. They show her attempting to spit on Kenya Moore, and that's when she kind of knew, things have changed for me. Speaking of NeNe Leakes, we already had some shade going on social media from the preview, okay? So I'm going to remind you, I'm going to insert a short clip from the previous video I did when NeNe Leakes did her interview about this whole in-person interview suggestion. I know that nightcap with Carlos King, almost like Watch What Happens Live, I heard allegedly he was the one who pitched that idea to the network, and then the network took his idea and made Andy the host and ran with it. So Carlos' show was on OWN Network, okay? Season 1 ended, no word yet on season 2. This reunion even made it to People magazine. Now, I am aware that what he does on YouTube, Reality with the King, is not the same as what he was doing on OWN Network. Meaning it's the same concept, but one is on network television and one is on YouTube. And NeNe was suggesting that his own thing that he have going on YouTube, he should have more in-person interviews like he did with her, because normally his interviews are from his closet. So I understand that, but it's when she continued to say how she's her and trash the other girls from the show when it comes to interviewing, and that's when he should have been like, you know what, I know it's different, but I actually had the other girls on OWN, network television. They were not just on YouTube. So you might want to relax a little bit while you try to basically trash Sheree and the rest of the girls. No one is taking NeNe impact away from her. Not even Sheree. They're just saying, as we acknowledge your impact, also give credit to the people who contributed to your impact. Because without them being there for you to throw shade, bounce off of, and all of those different things, you wouldn't be the NeNe Leakes that you are today. The house you built and all of that, but I've been doing this. I actually have my own, show on OWN with Oprah, the network, where I do interview people in person. However, this is my podcast. This is YouTube. We kiki over here. Every now and again, if I want to do in-person interviews, I will do that. But I already have that on the network. But Carlos is aware that NeNe Leakes is a person that like people to stroke her ego or bow down to her or kiss her, you know what. And whenever you're no longer doing that, that's when she goes off the deep end. So he sat there and entertained her. And I wish he didn't, because now the moment he posted Kenya Moore interview to his page, within seconds, NeNe Leakes was on his page, leaving comments like she's a trendsetter, and it's because of her, the reason why he's now doing in-person interviews. When not only he's been doing in-person interviews, regardless of where he was doing it, he also said in that interview with Kenya that this was long coming. She wanted an in-person interview. He even wanted to interview her on his show, Nightcap, the one on OWN, but there was some COVID situation going on. So this has been in the works. But once again, Carlos stroking NeNe's ego, he responded that he took her advice. So Carlos, be prepared to go through this. Be prepared for her to take credit, even though you've been an executive producer and a producer forever. You also have your own shows on your own network, excluding your in-person interviews, and then you just started something on YouTube from your closet, and whenever you want to interview people in person, you are going to do it. But be prepared for NeNe Leakes to take credit for that. But people on social media were not happy that she did that. As you can see on the screen, there are some comments right now of people just going in on NeNe. You will never beat that jealousy allegation if every time anything related to other people, here you come. So this person responded like she invented face-to-face interviews. By jobless walking contradiction. You already know the video that I always post at the end. I'm not posting it today, but she is a walking contradiction. NeNe, girl, shut up. Ooh, not shut up, Chad. Y'all going in on her. She set the trend for in-person interview that has been done for years before NeNe Oh, please, NeNe is not building any house. Been stuck on this one she allegedly built on the outside looking in. Bitter. NeNe, stop being so hateful. You are not the only person that can ever interview with Carlos. I'm ready to see you on TV again. Just pitch your show to another network. You bothered and it's showing, shaking my head. It looks like this response is for Carlos, due to how he responded under this post to NeNe. Stop belittling Kenya, who respects you and is a sister to you, to please that person who will turn on you in a second when it suits her. So true. Okay? They didn't go into details, but he revealed how they had a falling out, but now they have reunited. And on that show, she was very clear and open when she said Kenya is Carlos' favorite. And you could tell from Kenya and Carlos' chemistry and all of that. That's the reason why over the years, I guess Kenya relationship that she have behind the scenes with Carlos and the real Carlos is the reason why they are still cool, because based on the editing, even when he was there, it was actually worse. So people be like, Kenya, how can you even sit in an interview with this man and call him your brother and all of that when he's messy? But we don't know these people personally. And I guess she knows him personally. And based on their relationship behind the scenes and personally, hey, do your thing. I don't know them to sit here and judge them or whatever. She says that's her brother, that's her best friend. Sure. So be it. And he also shared and validated what we already know, that when a family member passed, Kenya showed up. She didn't have to go there and be with him at the funeral and all of that, but she went there in person. So we know that about Kenya. We've heard countless of stories. So people running around talking about, oh, she's this and that with production. We see you. I didn't even do a video on that because we're not giving you the attention that you're looking for. Dust over here. Yeah, it's YouTube. Do your videos, Vina, get your views. But I can see what that person is trying to do. So we're going to pay that person dust. If you know, you know. But that's why I didn't do the video. For those of you who was in my DM, dust. Okay? Anyways, let's continue. Copying what? Sit-down interviews are not only for one person. He clearly reached out to Kenya and has admittedly said she was the easiest housewife he's ever worked with. You are so intimidated by Kenya. She is so intimidated by Kenya, it's embarrassing. That right there, the very first comment that someone responded to about copying, because that person left a comment about Kenya copying NeNe. That's why some people in our community, yes, black people, that's why we are where we are. The fact that you think someone going to do a sit-down interview is copying. Like all of the other places people go to do sit-down interviews. Having such a limited mindset that you going to do an interview is copying someone else. That's the reason why the person you rock with and support is where she is now. It's not all about me, I. There's no I in team. It doesn't matter how creative, amazing, and wonderful you are. You do need people. You do need a team. You do need a support system, or else it would never work. If it's always about you and you on this high horse and me, it will never work. And that's the reason why she's exactly where she is. And if Bravo ever give her the chance to come back and she comes back with that same attitude, she will be gone again. You need to learn how to work with people. So you're the first person he ever interviewed. You are obsessed with Kenya. Follows now, she will never let you forget it. Ma'am, you may have been the first interview, but I'm certain she was already booked before your show aired. Exactly. Very bothered. She comes undone when it comes to Kenya. I remember Kenya saying that. She comes undone, honey. Pure hater, and I hate that for her. Calling yourself a trendsetter is weird. Claudia Jordan responded, love Kenya and she looks beautiful as usual. Plus, I included the nonsense that NeNe basically started on social media and those comments. I am going to come back with a part 2 where I focus on the more sensitive and serious topics that Kenya talked about. I do not think it's appropriate to mix that in here with, social media reaction and NeNe Leakes being typical NeNe Leakes. But I do want to squeeze this part in here real quick. Kenya did talk about the seating arrangements, and she basically said she understands that the producers want people to think that they change your seat depending on, what your storyline was that season. If you were a hot topic, okay, and they're going to be asking you more questions, then it makes sense for you to sit next to the host and closer to the host. And Kenya made a valid point. There were seasons where NeNe really didn't have anything going on, and they never switch or change her seat. And of course, Carlos said what we've all been saying, that Bravo doesn't appreciate Kenya. So we will dive more into all of those other conversations in part 2. This video was almost an hour long, and I had to, split it into 2 parts. So I'll be back with the more serious conversations. I'm wishing all of you well and take care. Kenya is the real star of our HOA. Beautiful, classy, sexy, shady, entertaining. The show had its best and highest rated season thanks to her. Exactly. And on that note, I'm wishing all of you well. I'll be back with part 2 and take care. My loves, thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.